Good afternoon. My name is Inga Houston with the Dublin Chamber of Commerce, and today we're having our business roundtable, and we're going to receive information from Dublin's finest, Dublin Police Services, and they're going to give us an update on the market or the state of Dublin, as well as give us some tips to keep our businesses safe and how to interact best with the police, right? For your business success. So thank you for joining us. We have Sergeant Shepard and of course, Deputy 2145.
Deputy Cowens.
Deputy Cowens. Thank you for joining us. I'll let you guys introduce yourselves. But why don't we quickly just go around the room. We're also recording this so we can send it out to our membership so they can watch it at their convenience. Patty, why don't you just say hi and who you are and what company you're with?
Good afternoon. My name is Patty Pringle, and I'm with the Rotary Club of Dublin. I'm their treasurer, and also a member of the Chamber of Commerce for my business. But today I'm Rotary.
Kevin.
Rotary.
Hi, I'm Kevin Vielson. I'm a Dublin resident, a member of the Chamber, and I'm a real estate agent in Dublin. My wife and I have been in Dublin since 1980. Seen a few changes.
Ryan, are you there?
Yes, I am. Hi, I'm Ryan. I'm with Porygon Studios, a video advertising agency in Dublin, and I've lived in Dublin for over 25 years.
There you go. And Christine, there you are. Welcome.
Hi, I'm Chris Petro. I'm the CEO of Chabot Federal Credit Union, and we've been in Dublin since the early 80s.
And then last but not least, my new assistant, Ashley Strasberg. You want to say hello?
Hello, Ashley Strasberg. Take my Hannibal Lecter mask off for a second. Worked in Dublin for 4 months now. Woohoo!
We're very excited. So come by the office and introduce yourself and take a tour because we're in the new place. So, okay, I'll let you guys take it away. Are you guys going to want to share your screen?
Yeah.
Okay.
Will's my technical partner. Oh, there we go. Awesome. So I'm Chris Shepard. I'm Sergeant of the Crime Prevention Unit at Dublin Police. I've been with the Sheriff's Office since 1999, and I've been with Dublin at the station since 2013. So I'm happy to be here. I have with me Will Cowens. I'll let him introduce himself, but go ahead.
Will Cowens. I've been with the Sheriff's Office for just about 8 years. And I've been assigned to Dublin Police Services for about 5 years. And like Sarge said, happy to be here. Happy to be in this unit and get to interact with the community members.
So Will's been in the unit since
like a year almost.
Yeah, so for about a year. And it's been an interesting year because, you know, our unit does crime prevention events. And we also do school resource officer events. And so a lot of those events we haven't been able to do. So we've been doing COVID enforcement, some other operations. So it's been kind of a strange year, but Will has some special skills. He's in our crisis intervention unit, which is basically another name for our hostage negotiations unit. So he's a valuable asset to Dublin as well. So I'll go over a little bit of Dublin Police and where we're at as far as what kind of units we have and how many people that we have currently. So right now our population in Dublin is sitting at close to 67,000 people. We have 15.23 square miles and 59 officers. So we're roughly, it's a math equation for officers in a city is about 1 per 1,000. So we're very close, if not right there with the breakdown of where we should be at with officers. And the city's been great at, as it's growing, adding more officers as well. So we have, our breakdown of units, we have patrol, which responds to your daily calls for service. That's who, if you called for us, that's who you would generally get as our patrol guys. We have investigations, which is our detectives. And then we have special investigations. So those detectives and special investigations, they work on any critical assignment that's going on in Dublin that needs to be investigated. So they may help out with a homicide. They may be involved in drug investigations. They may be involved in special enforcement, such as prostitution, or we're coming up on the fireworks season, so they'll be involved with that. And then we have the SRO and Crime Prevention Unit, which is our unit. The Traffic Unit, which deals with any traffic issues throughout the city. Vehicle Abatement Unit, we have 2 technicians assigned to that, and they're also in the Crime Prevention Unit. And then we have our K9 unit, which we have 2 officers assigned to that right now. For people that aren't familiar, the City of Dublin contracts with the Alameda County Sheriff's Office to provide police services. So we have about 1,000 officers, and obviously 59 of them work here in various different assignments. They all start out going through the academy and then spend a couple of years at jail, go through a field training officer program, and then come out and work at our various patrol duty stations. So they're our chief, our captain, and our lieutenants select who they think is the best of the best to come out here and work for this city. And so they also select people with different skills, like Will has, being crisis intervention unit. I'm in our UAV unit. We have some of our SWAT officers here. So everybody has a pretty well-rounded, and they have different skills that they bring to the table so that we can respond appropriately for any situations here in Dublin. Just click, should be good. So our staffing resources, there's about 1,000 sworn people on the Sheriff's Office. The way our contract is written, that if somebody's injured, we replace that position within 10 days. And that keeps the staffing at a continuous level. If you're in a different city that doesn't have a contract like that, they would go down those employees. So if you had 10 employees and 2 of them got injured, you'd now be at 8 until they came back from an injury. Where here, if they're injured, we bring in somebody from another part of the department and cover that until our officer is back to full duty. So the resources that we have, we provide as part of the contract are bomb squad, a SWAT team, the crisis intervention unit. We have 1 helicopter we just got in June, 2 airplanes. We have unmanned aerial vehicle unit, a crime lab, a marine unit. We have narcotics and narcotics K9 and our bomb squad as well. So there's just a few of the resources that we have. So in Dublin Police, we have on a daily, our daily staffing would be about 7 guys assigned to patrol, 10 assigned to investigations, 5 for crime prevention and school resource officers, and 5 for our traffic units. And then those shifts are 12-hour shifts for patrol, 10-hour shifts for investigations and crime prevention. And then our patrol shifts are days, swings, and midnights. So the investigation shifts, they're day shift, but they will respond if there's some type of crime that needs to be investigated. That that's time is of the essence. And then shifts can vary based on the crime trends and the critical incidents. So our special investigations unit, if we have something going on, like say our auto burglaries, they'll come in, they'll adjust their schedule. Our holiday crime suppression, we adjust our schedules for that to match when the crimes are occurring as well. So a little bit about the crime prevention, I'll let Will talk about that.
Yeah, so the crime prevention unit's made up of 4 officers and 2 technicians. We will actually be getting one more coming up in July when we move into the next fiscal year. Most of our primary function is to do like problem solving for the businesses and the citizens. So any traffic issues or crime trends that people are seeing in their neighborhoods, that if they contact Dublin Police Services, they'll contact us, our unit, and we'll go out and address the problem, talk with the community, and figure out the best solution we could come up, as well as with the businesses, because we tend to have a lot of retail as well as commercial areas, so they can see a lot of problems that we won't see because they're kind of tucked in the back. So when they get brought to our attention, we'll go out and try to get our best effort to resolve it. And during COVID for the past year, we were really primarily just informing the citizens and the businesses and educating everybody as the updates were coming. I'm sure everybody knows they were coming, randomly throughout the week, or once or twice it'd be changing a day. So it was a little bit difficult, but that was what we were doing mainly. So this is a list of all of our crime prevention programs that we go out and try to implement throughout the community. So Neighborhood Watch, Business Watch, CEPTED evaluations, which is crime prevention through environmental design, and that's for businesses and residential. We put on the Citizens Academy, which we just finished yesterday. It was a 10-week program where the citizens could sign up, and we educate them and give them some brief knowledge on Dublin Police Services. Youth Academy, Police Explorers, which we also provide them with Academy. Bike rodeos, where we go around during the summer, which we're going to start here in a couple weeks, and educate the kids on bike safety. Child abuse mandated reporters, lockdown at schools, ride-alongs, active shooter trainings, coffee and the chief. A lot of this stuff's really coming up now that we're A, getting out of COVID a little bit, and B, summertime. So coffee with the chief will be coming up here in June. Stuff the Cruiser, Shop with the Cop, National Night Out. We're responsible for all the crime-free multi-housing throughout the city. And then DEA Drug Takeback, DARE, Med Project, School Attendance Review Board, Tobacco, Retail Enforcement, which we'll kind of do tobacco stings at the businesses to make sure they're not selling to minors, and same with the ABC is a minor prevention of sales for the minors.
So we had, there's actually 51 different things that we handle. I couldn't list them all. So that's just a kind of a brief rundown of the basic stuff that we do. Our upcoming events are our Youth Academy, which is in June in a couple of weeks. We have Coffee with the Chief at the Farmers Market, and we usually do that at the beginning of the Farmers Market and the end. So this year we're looking at June and August or September. So hopefully it's a nice, cool day that day. Every time we do it, it's blazing hot. So our Explorer Academy, we're going to put that on in July. That's a 2-week academy that our explorers go through, and they're high school age kids. And it's basically a mini version of our police academy that's condensed down. And so for some of them, this will be their second time taking it because they've enjoyed it so much the first time. And it's good for us because they volunteer to help us out all the time. And so they have a really good education and training and a background on what their role is and how to do it safely. So we always appreciate their involvement. Bike rodeos, those are coming up in June and July. We usually do them at all of the elementary schools. And that's for the daycare centers there. We go out and we hold a bike rodeo, teach them about traffic and bike safety, make sure their helmets fit right. And then we have courses that we set up for them. They ride through the courses, and then when they're done, we have a barbecue for them. So this year we're only doing 5 because several of them are under construction. So we'll be out of those. Neighborhood watch meetings, we always have those going. I think we just finished 6 of them last month, and we're getting calls for more of them. Love getting the calls and meeting with everybody and helping them solve any problems that are going on in their community. 4th of July, that looks like that's going at the parks this year. So we'll be out there at the parks, making sure everybody's safe and watching out for any wildfires. Then in August, we have National Night Out. I have to check on that date, but it's usually the first Tuesday in August. Splatter, August or September. And then in October, I want to say it's the 3rd Saturday in October, around the 24th-ish, is our DEA drug take back and shred event. So we usually hold a shred event and an e-waste recycle, but the last 2 we did not due to COVID. But now it looks like we're out of COVID. We're going to hold them again. And everybody was continuously asking about the shred event. So I'm hopeful everybody will be happy that that's back. We have Inside Dublin that comes up around November. And that's to educate people that are interested in government within the city about how the police department functions. And then in December, we have our annual Deputy John Monaco Christmas tree lighting ceremony. So that's our lineup for the next 6 months. And then generally after that, it kind of curtails until March, St. Patrick's Day, and then it picks back up again. So that's what's coming up next. We just finished our Citizens Academy. That's a picture there of one of our previous Citizens Academies after a day on our emergency vehicle operations or pursuit course. So you can see everybody had a good time, everybody's smiling there, and that's usually kind of the highlight of the class. So we didn't get to do that this time, but I would expect next year in March when we start back up that we'll definitely have that going. And I'll have Will talk a little bit about what our outline is for Citizens Academy.
So the Citizens Academy, which is the one we just finished, it's 10 weeks long. So we met every Wednesday night, 5:30 to 6:30, give or take a little bit every now and then. The topics we go over: penal vehicle codes, use of force, district attorney presentations, detective presentation. And then we try to get out of the station and get everybody to get out to see some actual training or some things that they wouldn't see normally on their own, like the Santa Rita Jail. We have EOD do an explosives presentation. We take them to the police academy. The crime lab will come out and set up like a fake course or a crime scene, and then they'll show them how they go through getting all the things that they would need. The K9 unit comes out, do the presentation. Sergeant Shepard in the UAV unit did a presentation. SRU, which is our SWAT, so we have them come out and bring all the toys that the SWAT team gets to deal with, and then we take them out to the EVOC course, which is pictured here, where they take them out to our pursuit course. And then we also like to, which something we didn't get to do this year, which is usually a hit, is the force option simulator, where you go through a scenario-based video and you try to figure out what you would do if you were the officer responding to that call. Just so for the future, online signups will be February 2022, and we encourage as many people, including yourselves, to come through and see what Dublin Police Service's operations are about.
We usually take about 25 people on that. So I think this time we took
13, 14.
14, just because we had to be able to space them out inside the building when the time occurred to where we could meet in person. So, but normally it's about 25 people. So we'll go over some brief statistics. I don't like showing too many statistics from the past 6 months because they're really skewed because of COVID. So during COVID, so many people were locked down that crime decreased dramatically. These are some figures from 2019, 2020 comparisons. So theft decreased by 2%. There were 405 thefts in 2019 and 396 in 2020. Burglaries decreased 28% from 75 in 2019 to 54 in 2020. And I could tell you the first quarter of this year, there was even more of a decrease because everybody was home. So the burglaries were a pretty rare occurrence, which was great. Theft from a motor vehicle decreased 60%, 310 in 2019 down to 124 in 2020. And I would say during COVID, that decreased even more. And then vehicle theft increased by 57%. There were 21 in 2019 and 33 in 2020. I can't tell you what the figure was for 2021. We still had a decent amount of vehicle thefts, but nothing too crazy. Our domestic violence calls increased by 15%. There were 5 domestic violence calls in 2019 compared to 7 in 2020. I would say that those figures are probably about the same for 2021 so far. That's not a lot of domestic violence calls, but obviously none would be even better. So assaults decreased by 5%. There were 34 in 2019 and 32 in 2020. Robberies decreased 24%. There were 29 in 2019 and 22 in 2020. And then we responded to 38,500 calls for service in 2019. I don't know if anybody would have guessed that number if I'd asked, but pretty large number of calls for service. And out of those, we had 1,700 arrests. So I would say a large majority of them are drug and theft related for most of those offenses. So some of the common crimes in Dublin are auto burglaries, and that's kind of a Bay Area wide problem. I could tell you a little bit about them. Just briefly is it is too lucrative for these guys and the punishment is not enough. There was a police department that interviewed an auto burglary ring and they talked to them and said, how much do you make, you know, in a week or in a day? And they said they make about $5,000 a day doing auto burglaries. So you can imagine if you multiplied that by 7 days and 365 days in the year, they're making a lot of money doing it. And generally when they get arrested, the punishment is, you know, they get cited and released into the field, or they spend a day in jail and that's it. So not nearly enough of a deterrent to stop that right now. Auto thefts, not so common in Dublin. We have them from time to time, but it's not, we're not plagued by them by any means. Petty thefts. So most of these thefts, they're occurring in a lot of our big stores like Target, Safeway, CVS, where else? Whole Foods is another one that gets hit quite often.
Most major retail stores.
Yeah. Ulta, they're hit by retail theft rings. So those are organized rings of people that go out and just hit these stores pretty hard. So then we're getting catalytic converter thefts. We're not plagued by them, but they are really mostly geared towards Toyota Priuses. And there is a couple of fixes for that that we'll talk about in a minute. Drug possession, that's gone down from a felony to a misdemeanor. So we're seeing a lot more drug possession arrests. Package thefts, I wouldn't say that we're plagued by them, but we do have them. And most of them are occurring in some of our larger apartment and condominium complex areas. Mail theft, that happens throughout the city. Again, not plagued by them, but they do occur mostly in, same thing in our condo complexes and apartment complexes where you have the big
Banks.
big batches of mailboxes. Some people think that the suspects have keys to them, but I think the majority of the time they're breaking into them. It's possible mailmen have left keys behind and they have a few keys, but I think for the most part they're breaking into them. And then we have the gas pump credit card skimmers. So if you're not familiar with them, there's a picture of them down below there. And so if you didn't know what to look for and you were inserting your ATM card into at the gas pump into the credit card reader, you would think that the picture on the left was probably just fine, just a piece of equipment that belonged there. But These thieves just insert a little piece on there that looks natural, and that piece is skimming your credit card information or your ATM card information off of it. And so they take those and they download them, and then they're putting them, they're magnetizing them to credit cards and all kinds of stuff to use your numbers. So just got to be careful of those. That's just one type there that I'm showing on the screen. There's another type where they actually open up the box and they attach something to the inside that you can't see. So that's mainly affecting our gas stations. And so we just had an investigation along with Livermore and San Ramon and several other cities where these guys were going around, and they figured out how to get free gas with a Bluetooth device that was made out of some kind of remote control. And so they were basically, when the pumps were shut down, they knew how to turn them on with this device, and they were filling up with thousands of gallons of diesel fuel on a regular basis. So they were just arrested. It was 3 of them. So at least we know that we've put a stop to that for the time being. So our arrests decreased 27% from 2019 to 2020, with 153 arrests in 2019 compared to 112 in 2020. Actually, that figure is not accurate right there. Traffic citations decreased 34%. We had 789 citations in 2019 compared to 523 in 2020. Probably greatly decreased during COVID because we minimized our interaction as much as we could based on COVID to limit, either our officers passing on an infection to citizens or vice versa. And then our calls for service decreased 26%. So if you're looking for crime statistics, you can go to the City of Dublin website and use that link there, and it will take you to the crime statistics if you want to see, what the statistics are. So the crimes that frequently occur in our commercial retail business areas are thefts, auto burglaries, auto thefts, credit card fraud, burglaries, some purse thefts, and that's mostly women are shopping in a grocery store or Target or something like that, and we have rings of people that go around and they'll distract. It's usually a 2-person ruse that they use, and one person's distracting you and talking to you, and the other person's reaching around and grabbing your wallet and credit cards out of your purse. So that's something to be aware of. If somebody's coming up and talking to you, you don't really know them, just make sure that you've got your purse secure in an area, or zipped shut so that they're not going to distract you and get in there. And then in rare cases, robberies. Our robberies are not, we don't have a whole lot of robberies in the city of Dublin, but they, we're not immune to them like other cities as well. We'll talk about the crimes by type of business.
Yeah, so we kind of went over the gas station thing. Typically, you're just going to see the card skimmers, thefts, robberies, and vandalism. Convenience stores, you're going to same type of thing. At restaurants, that's where you're going to see most of your auto burglaries. That's where we try to harp on the city members about keeping things not in view or just not leaving things of value inside of the car. If you notice, there's kind of a trend if you go through the restaurants, stores, and the car dealerships. I like to call them crimes of opportunity. And that's wherever there's fruitful crimes of opportunity, criminals are going to keep coming, right? So if they keep coming to restaurants and retail stores here and are allowed to, and they find vehicles with lots of things of value inside, they're going to keep coming to where the fruits are growing. I'm pretty sure that makes sense to everybody. But that's why you see a lot of the same things throughout every type of business within the city. So this is some things that we came up for the city that are, and community members too as well, for prevention of those crimes. So like I was saying, keeping valuables out of sight, securing all your windows. Businesses that have outdoor dining reduce auto burglaries due to natural surveillance. So if you have people sitting outside of the restaurant, it's going to be less likely people are going to smash windows and steal out of those cars because there's natural surveillance going on.
So during this pandemic, our auto burglaries went from sometimes 14 or 15 in a day to 0. And some of that we credit with not as many people being out, but the other that we credit is the outdoor dining, people sitting outside in the, in the parking lots and they're dining and their cars are out there. So makes it very difficult when you've got, let's say you got 40 people dining outside. That's 40 eyes looking around. It makes it really hard for the suspects to go out there and do the auto burglaries.
Yeah, so auto thefts can be reduced by locking and securing vehicles, but mostly by keeping valuables out of the vehicle or not giving or parking in a well-lit area. And then robberies, visible security systems, where leaving windows clear of obstacles, good placement of cash registers, and then just making sure the clerks are aware of what's going on. Card skimmers, they could be daily checks of the gas pumps, key access, and video cameras. And then burglaries mostly is not as much natural as you could get, but lighting, alarm systems, and video surveillance. Checking IDs is a great way that the retail businesses can really mitigate credit card fraud or identity theft. Something that I don't think very many places do in general. We all see the strip, but I don't think I've ever even signed one of mine. And then retail theft rings can be routes to communications between businesses, like such as Target. On the east side and the west side, they communicate very well. If something happens on the east, the west side's already pretty much aware of it, and they sometimes even contact us and will be in the area ahead of the fact that people could be heading over there.
So what I have here is a picture just demonstrating what natural surveillance is and how outdoor dining can help. So you can see this couple here, they're sitting down eating and they're out in the, on adjacent to the street parking areas and with a clear view of the cars, even looking out at the cars. So they're watching the vehicles going up and down and they're watching the cars there. So that we go to crime prevention through environmental design class. That's one of the things they teach us is natural surveillance is always a great option to reduce crime. So crime is mostly, most crimes are crimes of opportunity. So if there's an opportunity, they're gonna take that opportunity to commit the crime. So you're reducing that opportunity with surveillance. And obviously I would think that we get a pretty quick call, to the police department if people have seen anything suspicious. So helps us get notified a lot quicker. So here we have 2 pictures of a 7-Eleven. So if you're a clerk inside a 7-Eleven, we would like you to be able to see out the windows. So you know what's coming. You see something suspicious outside, you can make a call before it comes inside. And other people could see what's going on. So if you look at the one on the left, there are so many banners and promotional items on those windows. If the clerk inside's getting robbed, nobody knows. And if the clerk's about to get robbed by a group of people, he doesn't even know it's coming because he can't even see outside. So for our businesses, I know that the city has a municipal code that says, how much of a window can be covered. But if you're working in an area or a building that's kind of prone to robberies like a 7-Eleven, I would say 7-Eleven across the board throughout the United States, probably one of the most robbed stores. I would say that you definitely want to make sure that you have clear sight in, clear sight out in order to, help prevent yourself from being in a bad situation. So if you're being robbed and somebody's outside and they're pulling up and they see it, they could see it through the window. They can call the police, and hopefully, if you're inside and you see some suspicious looking characters coming in, you could start making a phone call before they get in the building. So, or maybe there's somebody that that causes problems, and on a daily basis, you see them coming up from far away. You can make a phone call rather than kind of. The picture on the left is almost like an ambush setting. You're making victims there. We'll talk a little bit about security cameras. So one big thing I would say is don't use fake cameras. BART took a little bit of heat for doing that in their train cars. Everybody kind of assumed that there was cameras in there, and most of them weren't working. Some people use them on businesses. I would just really refrain from doing that. I don't, it may be somewhat of a visual deterrent, but it's kind of useless if you can't see anything on the video, and then people may kind of use it as a crutch and assume that they're safe because somebody's watching, and nobody's really watching. So if you're going to get a system and you don't have one, I would say go with a 4K HD camera inside. And then on the outside, I would go with a 4K camera as well, but make sure it's equipped with IR lights. And IR is basically, it's infrared, and it's just a band of light that we can't see. So it's actually illuminating a person. It's just you can't see that band of light. So they work really well at night. You can pick out facial features from them, and really valuable. Without that, if it's dark out, you're not going to see really anything. So that's what I would recommend for the inside and outside. If you're going to pick a system, make sure it's user-friendly and that you can access it or your employees can access it. We go to lots of businesses and there's a crime there, and we say, hey, can you access the system? They have no idea how to access it, or they'll say, well, the owner does, but he's not here. And then the owner uses it so infrequently that they can't access it as well. And it takes them a while to figure it out if they can figure it out. So I would just make sure it's easy, user-friendly, and that if you need to either send it via email or burn it to a CD or save it on a thumb drive, that's a task that you can accomplish easily. So all the way around, software and hardware, user-friendly, and then being able to be familiar with it. And then if you're going to mount a camera inside, it's good to have some overhead views, but generally when you do an overhead view, you're not going to be able to catch a suspect's face, especially if they wear a hat. And so I would say a majority of our suspects are wearing hoods or they're wearing hats, and they're going to have their heads down almost every single time in those photos or videos. So you want something, it's okay to have an overhead one, but I would definitely, in points where you want to capture a face, like near a cash register or near a door, going in and out of a door, I would want those cameras mounted at a level that could catch the face. So if you look right here in the top photo, that's a Oakland Police Department video, and that is Target, suspects coming out of Target. So it's placed at an appropriate level where you could see the faces and see the facial features. And then if you look at the one below it, that lady is a lady that went around all over Northern California and parts of Southern California, and she went stealing people's wallets all over the place. So department stores, supermarkets. She even hit one of our schools. She hit Doherty Elementary, went into teachers' classes and stole purses, and then just went on a shopping spree all over the place. And I have to say, so we went to every place that she shopped around here. We went to Target, we went to Victoria's Secret, we went to Macy's, all these different stores. The one thing that really, really frustrated us was she always wore a hat like that and always had her head down every time. So getting a conviction off of that, or being able to identify who the suspect is, makes it really hard if you can't see the face. So what the district attorney is looking for is a clear view of the face. So if you have the video camera mounted too high, most suspects will have a hat on or a hoodie, and you won't be able to see the face. So just try and get them down in that, 5 foot 8 inch area to try and get a good shot of their face. And then outside a building. So outside a building is kind of important. I think a lot of people forget about it. Some stores don't. Target, Walmart, they all have cameras outside. I think Home Depot does, Lowe's does, but and they're in the parking lots. But it's always good, like if your employees are exiting the rear door at night when they're leaving, It's great to have a camera back there too, to know what you're walking out to, because you want your employees to be safe. But you also want to see ingress and egress. So if a suspect is coming in to do a crime, you want to see which way he came in and then which way he left, because might be able to get license plates off of that, additional suspects or additional vehicles, or if they're running and they didn't take a car, it gives us a flight path that we can kind of project and put our units in that area to catch the suspect. So all important. I see some businesses, even some banks, that don't have them on the back, and I think it's kind of important to get a good 360 overview of front and back of your business. So this is a picture of some high angles. So the one on the left, that's above a cash register there, and the guy's got a hat on, and you can't see his face, so be very hard to identify that suspect. The one on the right, same thing. You can't see for the female there. You really can't see most of the upper portion of her face and eyes to get a good ID. And even the male suspect is kind of a little difficult. So you want to kind of get it down in a little bit lower area. And then we have, here's some of our important numbers and apps. Oh, you want to go over that?
Sure. So the 462-1212, that would be our non-emergency dispatch. That puts you straight to Dublin Dispatch. If you dial 911 in an emergency, it's typically, if you're close to the freeway, it's going to end up going to CHP's dispatch, and then they transfer it to us. Not to say don't use it, but that's just so some people throws people off every now and then. 833-6670, that's going to be our front office. So if you have a question, a specific officer, supervisor you would like to talk to, that's the number you would use. And then the apps would be the Nixel emergency alerts to your phone, Alameda County alert system. Some subscribers subscribe you to AC Alert automatically. And then of course we have our Twitter. And then Fix It Dublin is a new app. If you see, click Fix. You can go on there and type in, abandoned vehicles, things in the neighborhoods that you see, and it'll come through the app to us.
So you could take a picture of it, and then you could send it in with whatever the appropriate title is, and it'll go to the appropriate department within the city of Dublin. So like he's saying, if it's a pothole, it goes to roads. If it's speeding vehicles, it would come to us. If it's an abandoned vehicle, it would come to us. Maintenance issues would go to MCE or Public Works. So it's just a good way of routing stuff over. This is our Twitter page. So right now we have about 4,200 followers. Always good to get more. I always kind of think of the amount of people in the city, 67,000. That's a little bit bigger probably than the Oakland Coliseum when it's full. And 4,000 is not a whole lot in that stadium. So we'd like to increase it somewhere, hopefully we get to, at least a third sometime soon. But we put out updates, it could be anything from a traffic accident or a fire or road closures or, to investigation that we're doing. So, or upcoming events. So anytime we got an upcoming event, the chief is always posting what the new event is. And so you'll see our signups for Citizens Academy and Youth Academy, Explorer Academy. Those will all be on there. DEA Drug Take Back is on there. And then AC Alert, that's great for wildfires or other types of emergencies, like sheltering in place from some type of toxic cloud or anything like that. So or an earthquake. So those are kind of more of critical incident or disaster type notifications. So what you're looking at here, if you want to sign up for them, that's what their branding looks like. You have the AC Alert there, which is Alameda County Alert, Nixel, and then that's the Fix It Dublin app. So it says there, report an issue, Dublin Police Service is non-emergency, register for emergency alerts, electric, gas, water and sewage, and garbage collection AVI. So there's a whole host of different stuff in there, but great app. And we just started using it. It just came online in the past few weeks. So hopefully we get that out to as many people in the city as we can so they know about it. And it's a real efficient way of routing what needs to be fixed within the city. So here's our contact list. Deputy Paula Greenbaum, she is in charge of crime-free multi-housing. So if you have any issues in the crime-free multi-housing arena, she also does SEPTED inspections. So the SEPTED inspections is free. We do them for businesses. We do them for residences. And so basically what it is it's basically a security inspection. So people say, hey, I want to reduce the ability for somebody to burglarize my house. And so we'll go out and we'll look at what they would need to change. That could be lighting. It could be reducing some shrubs and trees. It could be different types of locks, a whole host of different things. It could be a security system. So just kind of an overall security inspection. We do them for businesses as well. We've done them for some of the schools. So free service, if you call her or Lillian or Jessica Rada, they'll schedule it for you. Then Will Cowens, he's doing our DARE and he does all of our crime prevention activities as well. So that's his desk number there and his email. And then me as well. If you want to arrange a neighborhood watch meeting or anything having to do with crime prevention or school resource officer unit, have a tour of the station. We give tours of the stations to all different types of groups, everything from Boy Scouts and Girl Scouts to the 5th grade. We do 5th grade over at John Green. They come out every year. And then
Ride-alongs as well.
Ride-alongs as well, yeah. And then technician Lillian Sadler, she handles a lot of the business stuff throughout the city. So permits, temporary permits, temporary ABC permits, tobacco, retail licensing, massage parlor licensing, all kinds of stuff like that. So if you need to get in touch, on the business end of things, Lillian's the person to talk to.
And for anybody writing that down, that my email is going to actually be W Cowens, not C. So if you wanted to write that down.
And that's it.
Perfect.
Well, thank you, gentlemen. That was very interesting. I do have a question. The CPTED, can you expound on that a little bit more? What do you guys call it?
It's
CPTED?
SEPTED.
SEPTED?
So we would come out we could do it at a residence or a business, and we would evaluate your level, I guess you could say, for lack of better terms, the level of security at your business or your residence. And like Sarge was saying, whether that be grooming down some shrubs or removing, things that are obscuring your vision to see outside of your business or to see inside, and lighting and placement of security cameras or gate access, fencing, anything like that. We'll go out there and give our recommendations and to the business owner or the residential owner to what they wanted to do with what the information that we gave them. And then we can always come back after you're done and we do a reevaluation.
Oh, that's great.
So the basis of that whole SEPTED is that crime occurs in areas that create opportunity. So let's say you have an apartment complex and the lighting is bad in certain areas and it's dark in corners or dark under garage areas or stuff like that, then it's more likely that that's where people are going to go to do certain crimes, whether it's a robbery or, whether they're going to go there and do drugs or anything like that. So we would say, okay, you need to increase the lighting over there so that, now it's more visible. Same thing with the idea of eating outside and having a view of the street. That's a SEPTED view as well. So it's all about reducing the opportunity based on your environment. So you change certain things in your environment to reduce those activities, whether it's lighting or maybe you have a walkway that has high shrubbery. You want to cut it down so that people can't hide in the shrubbery, stuff like that. And then when we go out and do residences, it's just reducing the opportunity for a burglary. So it would be looking at, do they have any video cameras? What's the lighting like at night? What's the access to the rear gates? Because most burglaries occur through the rear entrance. So a lot of the burglaries in Dublin, the guys come up, they knock on the front door, nobody answers. They go to the side gate, down the side yard. They sit in the backyard, they wait for a few minutes, see if they hear anything or see anything. If they don't, they'll go up and they'll make some noise near the rear sliding glass patio door or the rear door. If they don't hear or see anything, they'll bust that window and then they'll go into the house. And generally the first thing they do is go straight up to the master bedroom, because that's where most of the valuables are. Whether they take the guns that are up there or the jewelry that's up there or anything else that's valuable, they stay up there for 3 to 5 minutes and then they're out of there. So we base a lot of our burglary, our subheads for burglaries and residences on that and how we would secure the residents to prevent that. So we're just reducing opportunities. So that's kind of the main theory of the subhead.
That's interesting. Yeah, my next door neighbor, they had a back door broken into and they went straight to the master bedroom, and they were a family from out of the country, and they have what they call a go bag. And I think they were profiled because people know they have a go bag because, their parents are in another country and they have, $10,000 of cash and their passports in their go bag. And anyway, that's something to think about. Where do you hide that stuff so it's not in a obvious place? You got to think in your house, right? So, Patty.
Patty, you're muted.
Thank you. I'm just wondering about the homeless population in Dublin. I know the building that I'm in is on Village Parkway right next to the freeway. And there for a while, there was somebody living under that. And then it made me very nervous. I mean, but then all of a sudden they disappeared. So I was happy about that. I don't know what happened, but I mean, I don't think there's...
We cut down the bushes in the back, Patty.
No, they moved all that stuff. I'm glad.
So our homeless population fluctuates. It's very low. A lot of the homeless population either comes from BART or from the jail. Other than that, we have several different types of homeless. We have what they call housed and unhoused. So we have a few people that are sleeping in their cars. One family is a family from Danville, and they sleep in a motorhome. They're not sleeping in the motorhome because they're poor. They're sleeping in the motorhome because they're trying to save enough money to put a down payment on a house.
Right.
So they are no trouble to us. I've stopped and asked them many times, hey, do you need anything? Is there anything we could help you with? They said, no, we're good. We're just saving up money. So it's kind of the concept, I guess.
Well, I'm not saying that they're all bad. They're just, as far as I'm concerned, I don't know.
Yeah. So, and then we do have so there's very few people living in cars, maybe 3 to 4 people that are living in vehicles. The other ones that we have, the unhoused, generally, what we get is those are drug addicts or thieves that are just constantly either stealing from somebody's house. Maybe it's a bike, maybe they're breaking into a house, that type of activity, or they're going to the stores and they're just stealing everything they can in the stores. So if we get somebody in the community that is a good, honest person, they're on tough times, we do everything we can to help them. We work with cities. Right. And some other groups, and we have Axis. We talk to them about getting them some mental health care or some regular health care. So we work with them. But if you come into the city and you want to do criminal activity, we're going to enforce the law, and you're going to go to jail. So
Yay.
yeah, if you're going to steal from our grocery stores, you're going to steal from Target and everything else all day long, you're going to go to jail. We're going to enforce the law,
Good.
and that's it. So I think that's a pretty good, way of dealing with it. We're not going to convince those people that they need any help. They're just going to continue on the path that they've been on. We're not going to change them. And then the people that do need help, if they're open to it, we give it to them. So I think it's a very fair approach. We're not going to let our businesses be and our residences be continually victimized by these guys. That's the wrong way to go about it. People work hard for their money and their businesses, and we don't want them to have something destructive happening to them. So that's been our philosophy, and I think that we've done very well with them. We've created some great relationships with City Serve and the businesses out here. If you call and you tell us, hey, there's somebody that's homeless out here, we'll come out right away to any of the businesses. So my unit is the unit that's in charge of that. So we go out a couple of times a week and we check the creeks. We check all of the areas that, behind businesses and stuff that the homeless would normally hide. If we get a tip from somebody, we go by and we check those areas. We're super responsive. We don't want our city to be destroyed, through all kinds of unlawful conduct. So,
Good.
yeah, if you have any of that, give us a call. We'll take care of it right away. And then we have something called an open-ended complaint that we give out to a lot of the businesses. And what an open-ended complaint is during the day, businesses are very accessible, and there's usually some type of agent for the property around, and they could say, hey, this guy's trespassing. I've asked him to leave a bunch of times. He won't leave. I want him arrested. I want to pursue a criminal complaint. So we take the report, we arrest the person, we take them to jail. At nighttime, there's not very many agents of businesses around to do that. We have them sign a piece of paper that says if somebody is on my property, they're trespassing and they're involved in an unlawful activity, we'd like them arrested. So generally how we deal with that is if we find somebody on the property, we say, hey, you can't be here, you need to go. There's an open-ended complaint here. If they stick around and we come back and we arrest them. So it helps things from developing and getting out of control on a nightly basis. And so we inform the people that are trespassing on a regular basis how the city operates, and that these open-ended complaints are within the city, and a lot of business owners have them, which is good because we have the jail here. People get released, and if they continually were just hanging around, that would create a lot of problems. So they know, and they move, they get on BART and they go back to the cities that they normally reside in, rather than creating problems. So and most of them want to leave. They've been in the jail for who knows how long, and they just want to go back to the places that they've been. But we do have a few people that will kind of straggle around, and maybe they're not from the jail, maybe they came in from another city and they just want to keep hopping from one person's property to another. We won't chase them around. Eventually we'll tell them, hey, look, there's an open-ended complaint here. We're not going to chase you from business to business. Here's the consequences for the offense. If you choose to do this, then you're going to end up going to jail. So most people take that opportunity. There's very, very few that have really pushed the limit. But we have had some bad people that came into town that we're happy to have gotten rid of. One of them, he left town, the city that he went to, he committed a burglary and he stole a bunch of guns. He decided he was going to fire them off, in the neighborhood that he decided to put his head down for the night. And that particular agency ended up locating them the following day and locating all the guns. But that's obviously not somebody that we want just hanging around in the town committing crimes.
Exactly.
So that's the main purpose of
The hard thing,
what we do. Yeah.
sometimes the hard thing to differentiate is some of those people may be lightweight, not right.
Right.
So you have to be respectful, right, between their cognitive abilities and their behavior, right? How do you manage that? You know what I'm saying? Trying to say?
Yeah, that's always a balancing act, but so we all work in the jail and we deal with people that have psychological issues all the time. Obviously, Will's probably even better than me since he's in the hostage negotiation unit, but we really take that into account. We're not looking to hammer people. We're looking to be very
Right.
reasonable with them. So, you got to take the time to talk to people to figure out what's going on. You can't figure that out in 3 seconds. So, if we just take the time to talk to people, most of the time we could figure it out and realize, there's a different solution for each problem. We do have people that are suicidal and they're super depressed and they're doing things for certain reasons. And, if we have a choice of placing them in jail or figuring out that they're either gravely disabled due to their psychological status or they're suicidal, then we could refer them to psychological services. So we do that quite often.
Yeah.
I have a question. Do you guys have any safe parking places in Dublin?
Safe parking? We don't have anything designated. We have had people park at the library. We do have a safe exchange place at the police station and in front of City Hall. So let's say you decided to buy something on Craigslist from somebody and you were going to meet them. They know you have money and you're coming to meet them with money and you don't know these people. And so some people place fake ads on Craigslist and then they wait for you to come meet them and then they rob you because they know that you have the money. Really good is decide to meet them in the parking lot of a police station. That way, if something goes wrong, you can curtail that quickly. Or if they know you're going to be meeting in the parking lot of a police station, they're probably not going to show up if they're a criminal. So we hope to prevent those things from happening. And we do have quite a few of those kind of go awry. If people don't meet in front of the police station, they choose to meet in certain areas and they get robbed. It's always best to kind of choose something like that, an area that you're going to be safe in. We've referred a few people over to the library, especially when the police department was over there. We had a couple of girls from Canada come down a couple of years ago, and they spoke mostly French. They were from the French area, and they were very young. They were just looking for a place to stay for the night, and obviously in front of the police station. When it was over there at City Hall, that was a safe place that we felt. If it was my daughter, I wouldn't want her somewhere else on the street. So
Right.
we try and direct them to a place that we feel is safe. Without hindering some of the businesses in the area. I know Target over there on the west side, they've had a lot of people parking over there, and that property manager is getting kind of frustrated. Mostly motorhomes. We've been dealing with that a little bit, but that is a safe place. We don't have anything happening to people over there, just no designated spot. But you also have to be careful with that too, because, once that gets around, then you start having, a buildup of people coming and, it can progress very quickly from 1 or 2 vehicles to 20, 30, 40. I'm on the UAV unit, so I deploy over to Oakland quite frequently. And I could just tell you, I'm sure it started out with just a few people, but there is just a massive amount of RVs and homelessness and drug activity and all kinds of illegal activity going on there. So that's something that if you decide to do something like that, you really have to manage that, very closely, I would say.
Well, in designating a safe place is to say that nothing wrong is going to happen there too. So it'd be kind of difficult to designate a place where people can stay overnight and assure that nothing is going to happen, right? Because if we were to say it's safe and something happens, then it would be on the city or as a liability of placing them in danger.
Yeah, so in my neighborhood in Castro Valley, we have a very big issue with people sleeping in their cars.
Yeah.
So the church across the street, they have a designated safe place, and they give people like a permit to even just stay in there, and they have to be out by 6 a.m.
Yeah.
But yeah, it brings some issues. That's for sure.
I know Walmart in Pleasanton was doing it, and I think that they have ceased that activity due to all kinds of different stuff. So, yeah, I don't know what the solution is for that. I just know that the problems that come with that have to be managed really closely.
Does anybody else have any questions?
Nope, this was amazing.
Thanks, Patty.
Hey, Patty, you know something I learned about my car? Because I stayed late one night working and I parked it in the back. And the next day, my car window had like a spider web on it. And I learned I have the special windows on my car that if they tap them, they only spider web, they don't break in.
Oh, nice.
That was
Yeah,
an
Inga and I
expensive
are-
window to replace, but it was great because I didn't have to ride home on a pile of glass on my seat
Inga and I are in buildings right next to
each other.
right next to the freeway here. And sometimes I work late, like after midnight, and I'm here all by myself, and it gets kind of scary going out there, next to the freeway. It's like, I feel like I'm a sitting duck.
I know. And for us adults, we don't have what we had in college where you can call and have the campus police walk you to your door.
Yeah, I don't do that as often as I used to, but I have.
Well, if you don't feel safe and for some reason you come out the door and go, I'm just not feeling right, something doesn't, something feels wrong, you can call us. We'll come by and make sure you're right.
Listen
Yeah,
to the hair on the
usually
back of
keep an
your
eye
neck.
out.
It's never
Yeah.
wrong. Never wrong.
Trust
That's
your
right. Well,
Never.
yeah.
And Bob Technot joined us a little bit late, but didn't you get to see the new helicopter, Bob? Weren't you out with the sheriffs?
Oh,
What about the helicopters?
Didn't you get to go see the new beautiful helicopter?
have you gotten to see the new helicopter that the sheriff has?
Oh, yeah, a whole bunch of times. It's in one of our hangars. It's in the well, it was in the Pete Sanders hangar, 700, but I'm part of that sheriff's air squadron, so I'm involved in all that stuff. But anyway, we've got a new hangar waiting to get into it, much bigger hangar, and it'll be a house there, plus the air squadron has a 206. I don't know if we're gonna bring that down there yet or not. And the sheriff's department has another Cessna 206, a patrol aircraft. So yeah, I'm very involved in the sheriff's assets, except for the drones. I don't fly the drones. I do the bigger ones.
I'd like everybody to be aware that Kevin put a note in the chat about what he does at his house. I don't know. Could maybe our officers can give an opinion on this. I've always been hesitant to lock my side gate. It just seems to me, as a girl, I'd have a hard time jumping over the fence if there was a fire.
I always keep my side gate locked.
Yeah.
So what are your thoughts? I mean, it's kind of for prevention?
I think it's a good idea. I try and keep my side gate locked. It just makes it harder for the suspects to overcome. The easier you make it, the easier it is for them to do the burglary. And it's kind of hard to hop over a gate without making any sound. So generally you're going to make some sort of sound, and you might hear it inside your house if you're home, or your neighbor might hear it. It's just another obstacle. You don't want to make it easy for them. So
Do you suggest a key lock or a combination lock, or which one?
I use a key lock that's built into the gate.
yeah, you could do either one.
Yeah, I use a combination lock at my house. That way, if my kids needed to
Right.
get fast, or if my wife, they could just put the combination. But
That's what I would think.
definitely,
Yeah,
it's definitely like a first stage deterrent, right? Because if you go
right,
to a house,
exactly.
all the doors are locked, all the windows are locked in the front, you reach over the gate to open it, you got to unlock it. Now you have to start deciding, like, am I gonna risk going over this gate and there may be a dog or someone home, or I'm gonna
Yes.
that's just the first deterrent of saying, like, I don't know if I risk versus reward here, or should I just go to the next house and push the gate open and I can walk back
Opportunity.
there.
Yeah, a beware of dog sign's always good, even if you don't have one. Yeah.
Yes. A good recording of a dog.
So what if you have a bunch of stuff in your house you want to get rid of?
Well,
Put it in
somebody
the
did
go
that.
bag.
Somebody
go
did that
bag.
the other day. They had a big new TV and they put their old broken one in it and put it on their porch. And you can see on their security camera, somebody came and stole the broken TV off their porch.
That's amazing.
There you go. Porch pirates.
Oh. So is there any, I want to be respectful of time, we're way over. Does anybody have any other comments, any questions? Is there anything that the chamber can do to help the police promote, attend, host?
I think that just the support from people within the chamber and coming out to events or reaching out for events. We're always here to help with whatever anybody within the community needs, right? So if you guys are more willing to reach out and ask if we can assist, then we could be more accepting to kind of create that bond, because the tighter the police services is with all the members of the community, the better this it'll be as general, right?
Yeah, I do know. I had one member who they're over at the end of regional, and there was all sorts of weird activity going in a vacant building, and so they asked me about it, and I'm going, why don't we just call the police and let them look into it? And you guys solved their problem like that. And
Yeah, super responsive.
it didn't even occur to them to call you guys.
I think I know what place you're talking about, because we went over there, we talked to the property owner, we had him come clean it up, and we did a walkthrough with them, and along with another building that was next door to it, and cleaned it up real fast. So
yeah, and because her response was, my employees leave at 1:30 at night, and I'm worried about them walking to their car. I go,
yeah,
well,
so
yeah.
if there's any concerns like that, I mean, we're definitely the #1 stop.
Yeah, and it didn't even occur to her. So thank you for taking care of her, because she was just like, wow.
You're welcome.
Great.
Anyone else?
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
You're
We really
welcome.
appreciate you guys jumping in, and we'll have you back.
All right,
Okay.
sounds good.
Absolutely.
Thanks, guys. Nice meeting you, Ashley. And
Yep.
thanks again, Inga.
Stop by the office. We're in a new place.
We're right down the street from you.
Which office are you in? Which building are you guys in?
Where Mission Hope is. The adult daycare.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it used to be the One Stop Career Center.
Okay,
Now it's Chamber.
You could walk.
Yep.
maybe we will.
You guys are on Clark.